Leave? Are we leave? Are we live? Can you see us, Janae?
I'm refreshing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh man.
Hey, everybody.
Oh.
So it is just Tamika tonight. I am excited to be here with my amazing guest, Janae Lewis.
Yes.
And so this is actually Janae's first ever Facebook Live and her first interview ever. So you guys make sure you give her lots of support.
Yeah.
As the show is coming on. So we have a few people that have joined us. Oh, let me turn my phone down because, see, there I go getting in trouble with hearing all this background noise. I apologize. But yeah, we are excited to be here. Make sure you guys give us lots of thumbs up, lots of heart love. Share this video out with your network. Thank you so much for you guys. All she can say is yeah, because she's like so nervous.
Freaking nervous. It's amazing though. Cool.
Awesome.
Complete absence of sound. Stop the silence.
Micah Michelle says go nay.
The silence.
Thank you, boo. It's the bestie right there.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Stop the Silence Radio, where we give voice to the written word. Tonight, I am missing my host, Ebony, so we love you, Ebony. I miss you. But I am Tamika Sims, the Ink Pen Diva, your co-host, excited tonight with our guest, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Janae. Everyone knows me on Facebook as Janae Lewis or Janae Antoinette.
Very good. So we are in studio today with Janae Antoinette or Janae Lewis, who, as we were saying, this is her very first interview. So lots of claps. She has gotten over the nervous jitters. So we are excited tonight. We're looking forward to a great conversation. So Janae, before we really get into the meat of our show, why don't you start off by telling our audience a little about yourself?
Okay. Like I said, my name is Janae. Originally from California, born and raised. I moved here in 2008. Okay. Pursued school, went to USC for a little bit. I'm going to school right now for medicine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Totally opposite of writing. But
we all got to eat.
Yeah.
We all got to eat
somewhere. But so yeah, that's about it. I've been here since 2008. I'm currently going to Forward City Church, and living life, loving it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're originally from California. What city in California?
Los Angeles.
So she's an LA girl.
Yeah.
LA girl.
Yes.
So what prompted you to study medicine? Has that always been an interest of yours, or where did that come from? Has that always just been in you? Is it something you've always wanted to do? Because that is a little different from the creative aspect. So.
It is. My mom has been in the medicine field since I can remember. So she's brought work with her. She used to work with children with disabilities. So they would allow her to bring them home, and I just really got interested in it. And then it was either that or dance. My mom was like, yeah, I'm not feeling dance. So I was like, okay, I'll go with this.
Awesome. So for folks who aren't familiar with you, Janae is a spoken word poet. So tell us then, since we're going to segue from medicine, how long have you been a spoken word poet?
Okay, so I started writing poetry when I was in high school, like my sophomore, junior year. I fell in love with it when I took a poetry class for English, and I just loved the wording and the dialect of how I can get words across. I stopped like around 2007, 2008, just to figure out like, okay, what do I want to do with my life and figure everything out a little bit after I graduated high school. So now I just recently picked it back up, and it's different. It's new and it's refreshing, and it's another outlet for me to really get across what I want to say and how I feel when I'm feeling something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what led you to writing poetry? Like there's always this pivotal moment in our lives where something happens or something occurs and it sort of leads us down this path. So can you identify the event or events that led you into poetry?
Yeah. It was like late last year. I was going through a lot, like personally.
Sure.
And I just I don't I wrote a lot.
Yeah.
Like just a lot, and not like nobody really knows. I mean, now they know that
Yeah.
I write. But no one knew that I was writing, and during that time it was hard because people left my life.
Yeah.
And during the time I was going through a lot, and I was just like, okay, God, like this is what it is. People that I thought were for me or doing whatever for me,
Right.
that I thought we were cool, or just a lot of letdowns and a lot of heartbreak, just from different people in my life. And it all happened at once.
Right.
And it was just like family, friends. And I'm like, God.
Right.
So that for me put me back in that point of just writing and getting back to it.
Awesome. Awesome. So you said something that really struck home with me, and that is that writing is a creative outlet,
Yeah.
right? It's the thing that we can do when we can't speak what we're feeling, right? We
Right.
can always take it to the paper and just really pour out our heart and our soul. And so do you find in those moments that it heals you as you are releasing to the paper, or is it just another way of self-expression, another form of self-expression?
For me, it's both. I feel like it can just, at the time it healed me. And it helped me just take me to a whole nother level of just connecting with myself, the piece that I had lost at that point, or that I thought I had and I didn't. So it was both for me, honestly. Yeah.
Cause I can't take it, I'm naked, I mean I'm making a mess, and I keep forgetting how to pass the test. I never knew that I deserved the best. I never knew
See, that was quick.
Yeah, it was like
Hey. So now the jitters are gone. And
yeah,
you're
the
good to
jitters
go.
are gone. I'm like, oh, now everybody knows, Lord.
And they're delicious, I'm kidding, but not really. I must admit that the taste even never filling. Like a Twinkie before your dinner. Didn't need it, but yet you're feeding it to me with no regard for my feelings. My well-being is being attacked, not with a gat, but with a you're telling me, and you're telling me that I need this, and I believe this. It's the deceit to the left, but I go to the right. You told me to run, but I'm wasting your time, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Sorry to bore, but my soul's in a fight. I feel like my members are warring inside, and I don't know why.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the love and the support for Miss Janae.
Yo, this is crazy.
It's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome. So, you guys, Janae is tossing around the idea of writing a book. So
Yo,
I just need to know how many people how many of you guys would support her first book project? I just want just a show of hands. Like, throw up the hand emoji if you would support if you would support her first book project. I just need to know. I just
It'll
need
be
to see the
interesting
people.
to see how many people would say something.
I bet you all 10 are going to raise their hands. I'm just
Lord.
letting you know. Look at it.
Really, Micah?
I mean, but that's the bestie. Dominique
Right.
is like, what? A book?
book?
Yes. Yes. Look at
Thank
another
you.
Janae said she would support 1,000,000%.
Yes, Janae. I love you. That's my boo, too. Yes. Thank you, Damo.
Look at that. Micah, she done put up like 10,000 hands. That's so exciting.
Wow.
That's so exciting. All this love. So you never know until you put it in the atmosphere. You never
Right.
know. You don't
Exactly.
know what the response is going to be.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dwayne Lycan. Thank you, boo. Do it. Yeah.
I'm just
all right.
saying.
The Lord say so, man.
People have spoken.
Was the book
Excuse
gonna
me.
be?
The Lord and the people have spoken.
Yeah, because everybody thought I was writing a book when I came in. What is the book gonna be about? Figure it out.
He doesn't know yet.
No.
And we are back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Stop the Silence with my amazing host, Janae Lewis. I am Tamika Sims, the Ink Pen Diva, your co-host. And that was Deceiver by Miss Blue Eyes Soul. So you guys make sure you check her out. So when you and I were talking on the phone earlier, we were planning for the show and we were having some conversation. And we talked about a very important piece that I think many creatives miss, and that is the importance of stage presence. Yeah. So talk a little bit about the importance of presenting yourself well in front of an audience and establishing that connection.
It's key. I think you have to make that connection with your listeners. And it has to be real and authentic. Right. You can't just come, because
otherwise people can see that you're being something that you're not.
Right. Especially if it's just something that you wrote and then you can just remember and it has no emotion or no draw to pull me in. I think if you have those elements to pull and to draw and even involve your audience in your spoken word or whatever you're doing, it's important to do.
So what does audience participation look like? Is it, I hate to say call and response because that's like the church, but is it something similar along those lines, or how does it work for you when you're on stage?
Well, the last time that I was on stage.
The last time she was on stage, because there will be many more times that she will be on stage.
Yes, Lord. The last time, it was earlier this year. I did a piece. It wasn't mine, but me and another young lady, we did spoken word for the church that we go to, Forward City, and it was very connecting with what's going on right now.
Gotcha.
And you have to demand the attention. So that's basically what I did, and I just wanted them to see like what I remembered when I was going through this, or how I felt when my back was against the wall, or how I felt when I felt like everybody left me. Like you have to draw them into what you're saying. And it doesn't even have to be about I say something and then you say something back. No, it's just like making eye contact with the whole, audience. Like make sure that you pan view your audience so they get a better view and understanding like, okay, she's trying to connect with me. Yeah. Let me listen. Let me pay attention to what she's saying.
So when there are events happening of mass casualty or, something along those lines in our country and in our world, are you really inspired during those moments to speak to what's happening to the people? Or do you find, are you inspired just by nature, or, what inspires you? How do you really tap into that creative side?
I think for me to be authentic would be to be true to myself and what's going on with what's happening now. I mean, yes, the nature and what God has created is beautiful. Right. But for me right now, it's not as relevant as what's going on in the world or what I'm dealing with. It's an outlet, yes, but I deal with reality and the concepts of what I'm dealing with and how I need to deal with it and what I feel I can do to move on from it.
And I think it's very interesting as creatives how we can take a painful moment of time and really translate it into something that's beautiful and really translate it into something that speaks to the heart of the people, no matter what it is that they are experiencing.
Exactly. I totally agree on that. Yeah, because if you don't, then I feel like you're kind of missing it in a way, where you're not connecting with your audience. So that can also disconnect you from your audience.
Yeah, and I think it helps us to be more sensitive. I think, so much of what we're going through, we're so desensitized because we see it a lot. Right. But, it helps us to stay sensitive, to keep our ears to the ground, and to really make sure that we're tapping into, as you're saying, your audience. Because our audience, they're dealing with multiple things, not just what we want to talk about, Exactly. And so sometimes they come to the artistic community to really say it, but in a different way. Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So before we lead into my writing tips for this week, which is very good, by the way, we're actually going to be talking about writing as rewriting. But before we lead into that, give me one tip that you would give an aspiring spoken word artist. One tip.
Just be true to yourself. Write everything. Whatever you think, just write it. It won't make sense, but later it will.
Excellent. So Janae says to be true to yourself. So this week's writing tip is to understand this point. Tell me if you agree that writing is rewriting.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Awesome.
I definitely agree.
I agree with that too, but my editing clients don't necessarily like that.
Don't like that.
Right. But writing is rewriting, and quality editing is really the key. Oftentimes, a first draft will never be our final draft. There will be many moments where we'll have to write and start over, ball up a piece of paper and throw it in the trash. But I think it's important for writers to know that going in, because it saves us some time and it helps us to take it easy on ourselves, if that makes any sense. So editing your work, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the editing process, editing your work is literally, myself as an editor, ripping your work apart. Like it's taking all of your beautiful creative words and it's ripping it apart, but to put it back together in a very nice form. Right. Does that right? So it brings it all back in a nice form. So in saying that, it's important for you to first of all understand that writing is rewriting. To make sure that you're not skipping this step. I know a lot of writers think that they can self-edit their way to the perfect manuscript, but it doesn't work that way. Go back to previous shows where I talked about not self-editing and the importance of not doing that. Being realistic with your deadlines. If you know that you are not a good writer going into this process, then it's important that you give yourself enough of a time window to make sure that your work can be the best. You will not be able to publish a book in 30 days. You will not be able to publish a book in 60 days. Like, it takes time, especially if you have a quality editor, because that person is going to give you as many rounds of editing as possible to make your book as perfect as it can be. So be realistic with your deadlines. Don't skip this step. And know that it essentially may take several rounds of editing before your book is ready. So don't be in a rush. Don't put something out prematurely before it's ready. So make sure that you are giving yourself the necessary time to ensure that your book is the best representation of you. And then finally, before we go back to my guest, is to take it easy on yourself. None of us are perfect coming out of the gate, so to speak. We all have those moments or have those people in our lives that sort of serve as our fact checkers. They double check our research, etc. But we all need those people in our lives that can help us make sure that our work is the best that it can be. So understand, as you're working on your book, as you're working on your song, as you're working on your next poetry piece, that writing is rewriting, but quality editing is the key. So take it easy on yourself. Your work will be perfect. It just may take some time.
I agree.
You totally agree?
Yeah, 'cause
I love it when guests agree.
It helps.
So before we led into my writing tips, we were talking about advice that you can give someone to who is interested in breaking into spoken word poetry. Now, tell me why you chose spoken word poetry over the traditional poetic route.
I don't know. It felt better for me.
Okay.
It gave me room to be creative. It gave me room to
not follow the rules,
right,
so to speak.
Like,
yeah.
It just gave me room to be me. Like, I'm not, the sirens and type. I don't do all that.
Right.
Like the rhythm. Like, no. Let me tell you the story. Let me paint you a picture. That for me works a whole lot better than trying to rhyme. Now, if it does happen to rhyme, cool. But my whole purpose is for you to understand where I'm coming from, and I want you as the listener to understand and get the picture that I'm trying to paint for you.
Absolutely.
I want you to be where I'm standing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And one word that you've been using tonight, you've talked a lot about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think authenticity is one of those words that people tend to throw out. You hear the word a lot. It's along the same lines of the word empowerment, et cetera. Like, you hear those words a lot to where they've almost lost their meaning. Right. But in the context of creativity and authenticity, how do you see the two working together?
For me, I allow God to speak to me. So whether it's in a dream or if I zone out and he shows me something,
right.
I'm true to myself because God is showing me what I'm going through, or he's showing me something, and then I'm true to that. So I feel like my creative side of whatever God is showing me, and then after he shows me it, I think about it and I put my own little spin on it.
Right.
I'm being true to it. So that's how I put my creativity or whatever, even if God doesn't show me something, it's just something that I'm thinking about. I merge the two because I don't want to be out here and be like, okay, X, Y, and Z, and,
right.
and it has nothing to do with me, or it has nothing on how I feel. Like, I'm just talking to a wall, and it's not getting anywhere. So it'd be a waste of time for me and the listener. So that's how I feel.
So what is your creative process? Are you alone? Do you do staycations? Do you go away to the beach? Like sometimes people are more creative around the water.
Right.
Is that for you, or are you okay with you just sort of write it as it comes?
Okay, so I do both.
Okay.
I haven't been like to the beach or anything like that, but I love music.
Yeah.
Like calming, I love jazz. So
Okay.
that for me helps me like zone into whatever I'm feeling or whatever I'm writing or however my day was. The beach, of course, hearing the waves and the seagulls and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
it definitely soothes you. And then sometimes being by myself, like if I'm just by myself, TV off, night light, I'm writing. And it works both ways for me. I don't really have like a process of like, okay, you should do this because,
Right.
again, what works for me may not work for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you best at writing a certain time of day, or do you just write as it hits you? Like some people are creative at certain, intervals, certain hours.
I'm a night person.
Okay.
So, because I get off work super late anyway.
Right.
And I'm like,
So you're burning the midnight oil, so you
Yeah.
might as well be creative.
Exactly. So, at night, it is when it really hits me,
Okay.
or whatever God is trying to give me. If He's giving me something,
Oh, yeah.
at night it really hits me. So,
And I found it best when I'm writing something or working on something, that it's best to write when your world is quiet. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
when nobody's calling your name, dogs not barking, kids don't need you, etc. It just gives you that freedom to think and
Yeah.
to just be. And I think when we're just being, we can really hear God give us what it is that we need to say.
exactly, I totally agree about with silence, because silence, it lets you digest your
Yes.
thoughts. Like it just lets you like, oh my God, I didn't even like, how did you come up with that? Like, yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah, silence and solitude is definitely two of the important principles that I'm really putting into practice in my own life this year, because you just have to have those moments where you're just quiet. Our world is so noisy, and
Yeah.
there's so many distractions with social media and everything, but you can really sit in your own presence, in your own company, just you and God. There's just something magical that takes place.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
definitely agree, because that's when you're listening.
Right.
Yeah, that's when you're listening. And it's nothing like when you listen to what He's trying to say to you or what He's trying to get across from you. And it's just, for me, it's amazing.
Awesome. Well, I am very excited. This conversation is just like absolutely amazing. So very, very excited. Awesome. So isn't she doing amazing, ladies and gentlemen? Like, isn't she doing amazing?
Everybody is watching. Oh my God, I love y'all. I didn't tell, but like 2 or 3 people.
Why you do that?
Well,
You got to tell everybody.
okay, well, everybody. I'm here.
It's too late. We're almost done with the interview. Now you want to be here.
Right.
Because I quit
It's okay.
having alcoholic
I love y'all, though.
bottom of bottle.
Dante Marie
Thank you,
says
Dante.
yes.
I love
Janae.
you.
Yes. That's how you know those your
Yeah.
girls. They be like,
Yes.
yes.
Hi, Kim. How are you? Good to see you.
So you guys think that, first of all, Janae should do more interviews, right? Raise your hands if you believe that Janae needs to do more interviews, because I feel like she's hiding. I feel like she's hiding in plain sight. And so it's time for her to stop hiding. Do you guys agree with that? Like, it's time for her to stop hiding.
Yeah, man.
Show of hands if you agree that Janae needs to stop hiding.
This is the
Dante says
opening.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm here now. I'm here. I've said it. Really, Micah?
I mean, I feel like I love Micah. Like, I feel like she needs to be everybody's bestie, because she
Thank
is just
you,
like so
Jumbo.
supportive. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. I'm out. It's a wrap now. It's over.
Once you what I tell you, once you release it,
It's
oh
yeah.
man, it's about to happen for you. So we're excited.
That I am as well.
Micah says your people will call their people.
She's like my manager. She swears.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah,
You need a manager. If you
Yeah.
want these opportunities, you got to have a manager. You got to have somebody to professionalize it and keep it off you.
Yeah.
So you can be creative.
Thank you.
See how that works?
It works.
See how that works?
works
I'm just saying
so well.
that. I'm just saying that it works, because you don't have time for this. Your time is to be spent doing these things.
Yeah. See? Okay. Thank you, Micah. Hey, Prayline. What's up, man? Yeah. It's amazing.
So then maybe when you send in one of yours, we can play yours during the break.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you, Micah, encourage Janae to send in her poetry so we can play it during one of our breaks during one of our shows.
Definitely.
She has it. She's like, yes. She's ready. She's definitely going to help you.
This is amazing, man. It's crazy.
I'm glad that you're having a good time. You're doing great. For
Sing
this,
something. Pray
Raymond says sing. She got 20 seconds.
Well,
Sing.
no. God.
You got 20 seconds. What do you mean now?
Janae,
you speaking on Sunday? Oh, yes. I'm going to ask about that in the next segment. See that? Manager. I love it.
Manager. Thank you.
We're going to be talking about that in our final segment, Micah. Thank you. Micah, what do you do? Because I feel like you might want to be a guest on the show.
Actually,
she does
you need
makeup,
her.
right?
She does makeup and art.
Okay.
Yeah.
She does painting?
Painting and just regular portraits. She's dope.
Oh, no. She talking about nothing. I can't tell you do nothing.
Yeah, go on her page. You'll see.
I feel like I'm connected to her. Maybe on Instagram. I'm not sure, but her name is familiar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and photography. Thank you, Kim. Yep. Nice.
And that was Quitter by the Baby Jumper, my amazing host, who I'm so sad I'm missing her tonight. We love you, Ebony.
Love you, Eb.
So as we are entering into our final segment of the show, tell the audience what's coming up for you. What's happening for you next? What's next on the agenda?
So this Sunday, I will be doing a spoken word piece at Forward City.
How about that? Look at there.
Forward City. Yeah.
Spoken word on Sunday at Forward City. What time?
We have two services. So there's a 10 o'clock and there's a 12 o'clock.
So you are doing two performances on Sunday.
Yes.
10 o'clock and
12 o'clock.
And 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And for the people that aren't familiar with Forward City, where is it?
It is at 1515 Main Street at the Art Museum downtown.
Well, I love it. Somebody that knows the exact address.
You know, yes, forward.
So 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, Janae
Yes.
Lewis, if you are interested in seeing her perform live, you've had an opportunity to listen to her. You've watched her on our Facebook Live, but you get an opportunity to see her do her thing on Sunday, 10 o'clock and 12 noon at Forward City Church. What else is coming? So that's a performance. What else is coming down the road for you?
For me, continue writing and now getting out there
Yes,
and
you definitely got to
doing
get out
what
there.
I love.
We need to know about the wonderful things that you have going on.
Yeah, now I need to be more involved in my social media.
Yes. You do. Because now, since Freethinkers and Stop the Silence Radio has such a large audience,
Right.
that people are going to be looking for you.
Okay.
Right? So you
Well,
got to
I'm
keep
here.
your pages current.
Yeah, definitely have to. This, like I said, it's the first time going live.
And you've done amazing.
Thank you.
You have done absolutely amazing.
so
You've been
much.
phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
So speaking of social media, how can folks connect with you, keep up with you, stay up to date on your events?
Awesome. Social media, for Facebook, it's Janae Antoinette. And Instagram, it's Janae_Antoinette.
Awesome.
So you can reach
Twitter
me.
account? It's
No.
2017.
Okay. Well, see, here's the thing about Twitter.
Uh-huh,
y'all. So I have an account, and I just logged back in it today from like last year. So
you've been letting your audience that we talked about earlier
my
sort of
God.
lie dormant.
yeah,
They just haven't heard anything.
no. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to post on tonight
Totally.
what my
tonight.
Twitter account is because I don't remember it. Don't come for me, y'all. Because I don't know it. I don't know the name. I know it has Callie in it, but I don't know the name.
So let's change it to your name.
Yeah, I'm going to change it
Do
to
that.
Janae Antoinette
Uh-huh.
so everybody can understand where I'm coming from or everybody can, get to me. So, yeah, I'm going to change it, but I'll post it tonight.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys follow her across all social media pages. Facebook and Twitter will be Janae Antoinette, and on Instagram it's Janae_Antoinette. So make sure that you connect with her to see all of her beautiful pictures and to find out and to stay connected with current events and what's going on in her life.
Yes.
And before we end the show, we're just going to put this last little tidbit out there. And that is that Janae is tossing around the idea of writing a book.
Oh my God.
And so we want to encourage her to definitely make sure that she is pursuing that goal.
Yes.
So we'll sort of let that rest with her as she leaves here. But I can just promise you that you definitely want to make sure that you are connected with her. Make sure you stay connected with her. I can already tell that she's going to be doing great things. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Stop the Silence radio show. Remember, if you are interested in having us to showcase your poetry or your songs during our commercial breaks, please send an email to thebabyjumper@gmail.com. Again, that's thebabyjumper@gmail.com. We are looking for sponsorships. If you have an amazing business that you'd like to expose our audience to, also send an email to thebabyjumper@gmail.com. We would love to showcase and highlight your business. We are shown not just on the radio, but also on Time Warner Cable. So we have exciting things happening and we'd love to showcase your business. So again, remember thebabyjumper@gmail.com. Janae, thank you so much again
for having me,
joining us on tonight on Stop the Silence Radio on the Freethinkers Radio Network. We are excited to have you. Look forward to some great and amazing things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching us on Facebook Live. I appreciate it.
Love y'all.